Good morning. How is everyone on this, what is it, Tuesday morning? So I am still without internet and using my phone. So if it's crazy again, like it kind of was yesterday, well, we're just going to do the best that we can. Okay? So just be patient with me and know that I'm doing my best. Hey, Angel, how's it going? I am just sharing this out to everyone so that they can join. We're going to be doing our monthly Gnome today. Now, those of you who aren't familiar with that have joined me since we started this in January. Well, actually, it was February. What happened was we did a really fun February Gnome. And then we did a March Gnome. And then I was like, we should do one for every single holiday. Because we did one for St. Patrick's Day and we did one for February. And then I was like, or every month at least. Because I didn't do one for January. Then we did one for Easter. And then we did... And then we did one, we just did this fun one in April. So we basically have January, February, March, and April kind of done. I just am counting this as January because it was an April one. Because we did two in April. We did two in March. We did the St. Patty's Day one and we did the Easter one. And so we did this one in April. And so I'm just counting this as 4 months. So it's really February through April, but... So we're going to do one for May today. And so I wanted to go ahead and do that one since we just finished up our series, our summer fruit series. And so because we did that, and we just finished it up. Hey, Kinder Kelly. Hey, Mom. How's it going? Oh, Angel, I'm so sorry. It's been a rough day for you. Hopefully this will cheer you up. Hanging out with us for a little while will cheer you up. So I thought it would be fun before we start, I'm going to start a patriotic series since we've got July 4th coming up. And I'm going to do a series of fun little patriotic ACEOs. But before we do that, I thought it would be fun to go ahead and get a gnome in for the month of March. And so that's what we're going to do today. Now, when we do our gnomes, we always use the Meeden gouache paints rather than using the watercolor. So all of these have been done with gouache. I have been kind of practicing with gouache, I did some of these little mushrooms just on my own for fun as a practice. I'm just trying to get familiar with gouache paints and how they work because it's been kind of a whole thing with me to learn how to do them. And so I'm a little bit more familiar with how gouache works now that I've played around with it a whole lot. And so today we're going to get in our gnome for the month of May. And I will show you the inspiration pick in just a minute for that. But I wanted everybody to kind of be, ready and know that we're going to be using the gouache paints. Now, the Meeden gouache paints come in tubes, and they look, hang on one second. They look like, oh, wrong side. I forget. Got my drawers opposite. I need to switch these because I'm used to this being on my left side, but let me move this stuff out of the way so that I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Now, we still use the Meeden brushes and all the things. The only thing we're changing is the paints that we're using. And those are going to be these Meeden gouache paints. Let me move my candle out of the way. I had a candle going. Oh, thank you, Angel. That's sweet. Well, I hope that you don't leave disappointed today either. Okay, so here are the gouache paints. They come in these tubes. Okay, there are 48 of them in this set. So you get a ton of colors. And just so you know, the tubes are very large. They are a 0.4 fluid ounce tube, so you get a lot of paint. And I keep mine in this meat and drawer, but I also use this Golden Maple Stay Wet palette. And so I don't toss my paper. This thing is airtight, and when you open it up, your paints are still wet, okay? It has this sponge underneath it that keeps everything wet so that your paints stay moist and you can just reuse them and reactivate them. So I don't toss mine very often. So we're going to be using, today in our painting, we're going to be using some spring colors. So let me show you what it looks like. I think I have it on my, let's see if it's uploaded. Let's see if it'll go up. All right, so this is what we're going to be doing, guys, right here. It's going to be a spring gnome. Now, I don't want you guys to panic if you're like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can draw that. I promise you, we have done all of these, and I've shown you how to draw each one, okay? And we thought the same thing on all of them. And while they're not going to turn out to be exactly like this, it is going to be very amazing, and they're going to be close enough. So if you want to draw this and paint it with us, understand, I'm going to walk you through it, okay? So you don't have to feel like you have to be this museum quality artist to be able to do this, okay? You guys, we're going to break it down so that you can do it, all right? So just know that you don't have to be an artist, or everybody's an artist in my opinion. You don't have to be a classically trained, amazing, you know, artist to do this, okay? We are going to do this together, all right? We did these 4 together. We can do this one too, guys. And we're going to use the meat and gouache paints, okay? Right here. That's what they look like in their tubes, but we're going to use it on this Golden Maple Stay Wet palette, all right? I love this because I can just put the lid on it and leave my paints on there, and I can pull them out and use them whenever I'm ready because it keeps the moisture in. As you can see, when I took the lid off, the moisture was still there. All my paints are still there. All I have to do is reactivate them. All right. Okay. So, and that is, let me just show you guys. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. I think I might. I don't know that I do, but let me just check. Okay, that's this. I'm going to add that for you guys. I think that I might have a flash sale for this. So let me just see really quickly. I do. Let me just get it. Okay. So now I do. I have a flash sale for this, and so if you're interested in, for some reason, if you're interested in this Stay Wet palette, just let me know, and I will start the flash sale for that. It knocks off, I think it knocks it down to, well, let me just start it and see what it does. I can't remember. I think it knocks it down to 31. So, and that'll be good. That'll save you guys $6, I guess, on it. So that's a good thing. Okay. Yeah, there we go. It knocked it down to $31.99. So if you're interested in the Stay Wet palette, there you go. There's a flash sale. That's good for, I think, 20 minutes. So if anybody's wanting to get it, you can grab it up. Otherwise, we're going to get to painting. All right. I'm going to grab my paint board here. And this has spots on it. I don't think it's going to show. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tape our paper down. I use the Meeden paper. It is product number 6 in your cart, in the shopping bag. But I always use the Meeden paper. It's beautifully textured, as you can see. And it's very, very absorbent. So it absorbs the color really well. And it gives you really bright, beautiful colors. So that is what we are going to use today. All right. Now I want to go ahead and tape off my edges. So I'm going to grab some washi tape and start taping that off, because when we peel the tape, we want to kind of have this like frame around it from our background, like this. I don't know if you guys can see that blue, but it's very, very faint. So, and here is the one from this one. It's very faint. It's a yellow background. So I like having kind of a frame around them. So that is why we are taping this off. So you can use art tape. You can use painter's tape. You can use washi tape. You can use any tape that you feel is going to give you a clean line around your paper. I use washi tape because I think it gives me the cleanest line, but it doesn't always stick as well when I heat it up to dry my stuff. It doesn't always stick as well to the board. It sticks to the paper great, but it does come off this board. So sometimes I'll do washi tape and then I will tape it down again around the edges with the painter's tape. But I do that because the washi tape to me gives me a cleaner line than the painter's tape. And so I would rather tape it twice than use the painter's tape and then end up with paint bleeding up underneath my tape. So, and if you use really good quality washi tape, it won't do that. It won't come up and you won't have to double tape it. But I use my cheap washi tape because I like to save my good expensive washi tape for like junk journaling and art journaling and things like that. So I always use my cheaper washi tape to tape around my sides. Okay, so we are going to start drawing. I am going to be using the Nic Pro mechanical pencil set. That is product number 5 in the shopping bag below. We are going to be using that and drawing out our gnome. So if you guys are ready to get started on drawing, give me a ready in the comments, please, so that I know that everybody has gotten their stuff taped and they're ready to start drawing. You're going to need a pencil and you're going to need an eraser. I don't care if you're using the same pencil or eraser as me, just so you know. I'm just telling you what I'm using because it's the products that I like, but it doesn't mean that you have to use them or like them. All right. Hey, Stacy Lee, how's it going? All right. Kelly says she's ready. So that is good. All right. So we are I'm going to leave this flash sale running in the background. We've got about 15 minutes left on it if you guys are interested in the Stay Wet palette. This Stay Wet palette does come with a set of really nice detail brushes also, just so you know. So if you're looking for a good set of detail brushes, the Stay Wet palette does include that, so that is a really excellent price because you're going to get the Stay Wet palette and you're going to get the set of brushes that come with it, which is really nice. I have them somewhere. Let me see if I have them to show you before I take that off of there so you guys know which ones you get. So the Stay Wet palette comes with, pull them out, this set of detail brushes. It comes with your flat brushes, your round brushes. It comes with your liners and all the things. So if you're looking for a really nice set of detail brushes that then you kind of get get two birds with one stone in this set, because you're getting the Stay Wet palette and you're getting the set of detail brushes too. Okay, so that does, so it does include that. All right, let's move on. We're going to go to, hey, Sassy Soul, I'm glad you're ready. Stacey Lee, I'm fixing to show you guys the main picture. I haven't shown it yet. It's up here in the corner right here, but I'm fixing to show you guys the big one for a screenshot. So everybody go ahead and get ready to take your screenshot. Okay, so this is what we're going to be painting today. Obviously, it is not going to look exactly like this when we get finished, but we're going to do the best we can, and we're going to learn a lot, and we're going to have fun. All right, so go ahead and take your screenshot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are going to get to drawing. All right, who's ready to draw? All right, Sassy's ready and Kinder Kelly's ready. We're going to go ahead and start. So when we do this, we know we have our ground right down here, so we're going to give it about 1/4 inch before we start drawing. We're going to start drawing at the feet. And the reason I'm going to start drawing at the feet is because I want to, no, I'm not. I'm going to start drawing at the head. So we're going to start with the hat. And the hat has this little squiggly. So everybody just do a squiggly line. Just like that. And then we are going to add to that squiggly line by going along beside it like this. And widen it kind of out right at the top here. Okay, so that's all we're doing so far. Now, we're going to come around at the top, and then we're going to make a line that's more like, kind of like a shaky parentheses line across the side there. Okay, and then under here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to kind of make like a little shaky, lumpy parentheses line that widens out. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine, guys. It's just, we just want it to be kind of it's a triangle. We're doing a shaky triangle. All right. So if you're struggling with anything, remember, it's a shaky triangle. Hey, Ginger, how's it going? Hey, Leslie, welcome in. Twins 55F, welcome in. Cameron, welcome in. David, welcome in. Karen, welcome in. Emily, welcome in. Leslie, did I say welcome to you, Miss Leslie? Welcome in. All right, so we've got our hat done, or we've got the top of our hat done. Now this is where we're going to want to do our little like banner, or not banner, what is it? Like our ribbon that goes across the hat. Okay, now we're going to add the flowers at the end. So it's important that you realize that I'm drawing this without the flowers in the picture, because when we go in, we're going to add the flowers with our gel pens over the top. So we don't, and it's going to cover up what's underneath. So we don't have to draw in those flowers. We just need to kind of know where they're going to be. They're going to be right here. Okay. So all we're going to need to do is we're going to need to draw our ribbon that goes across the hat like this. And it kind of has a little squiggle there. And then it's going to go back across. Okay. And then our hat continues right here. Down. And then it goes up and over the nose and down right here. Okay. Now we have a little bow right here, but we only need part of the bow. So we're going to do the, let me erase this right here. Because it's going to have to join. All right. So our bow is going to come out like this. And it's going to come in and around like that. Okay, so all we're doing here is drawing a squiggly triangle, upside down squiggly triangle, and then we're connecting these together to make that oval right there. Okay. And then we're going to add in our ribbon that comes out right here. And then we've got a ribbon piece that comes out right here. Just like that. And then we've got flowers that are going to cover that up. All right. All right, so we have the hat drawn. It's really big. I think I might have made it a little too big, but that's okay. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it work. I always do that. All right, so here we go with the nose. Let's make that oval nose. And then we're going to, the beard's going to come out like this. Just make a little, just make kind of some pointy little squiggly guidelines for the beard, because we don't need to draw the beard. We're going to do that with our brush, okay? But we have to have the guidelines to know where we want the arms to go, okay? So our arms are going to come out. They're going to come around like this. They're going to do 2 little parentheses on either side. And then the dress or the robe or whatever you want to call it is going to come down like this. Okay, so that gives us kind of our guide for our arms. And of course, we have the flowers in the center. We're going to do our shoes right here. I didn't give myself a ground because I needed the space because I made my hat too big. So every time, never fails, always make my hat too big. Okay, so there's our robe. And let's go ahead and finish that out with our little arms. Like this. And then we're going to have our hands. I just make them like little muffin hands, like mittens. They come around with a little thumb. And then our flowers will be in the center with our bow. Okay? I'm not worried about the flowers or anything like that because we are going to do that with our gel pens. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and put our base coat on. How's everybody doing? Y'all give me a ready in the comments if you're ready to go ahead and start putting the base coat on. I'm going to bring that up like that. Okay. And our beard kind of comes down in the middle right here. I'm wondering if we should go ahead and draw the bow. I'm going to go ahead and put the bow on. So let's erase the fronts of the hands right here because we want to do this bow. Now here's how the bow is going to go. It goes down like an M, and then it goes, there's a little hump in the middle, and then another side to your M. So it's kind of like a little bird, but with a little hump in the middle, okay? Now you're going to bring the sides down like squiggly, like this. Just like that. And then you're going to bring the bases up, and you're going to make a little like circle in the center, like that. Okay. And then you're going to bring your ribbon down like so. Okay. And you're going to want to have that little inside area of your bow. So you're just going to make that an oval like that. Okay. And that gives your bow. Now we'll put the flowers in later, but I'm going to go ahead and put my sleeves on right here. They're going to kind of come down and attach. like that. And the same thing here. I want to add that sleeve, the cuff of that sleeve, so that we have, so the hand is kind of separated from the sleeve. So we're going to go kind of like a rounded down. So we have that cuff. Okay. All right, there we are. Okay, is everybody ready to start getting their base coat on and all of the things? Remember, our hat's going to have these little wrinkles in it and all of that, and we'll do that shading with our paints. So I'm going to make this kind of a little bit more wrinkly, like material more. All right. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a green for the hat. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do yellow for the whole thing. I don't think I'm going to do a green hat and a yellow robe. I think I'm going to do yellow for the entire thing. So the two yellows that I'm going to be using are going to be the Naples yellow . If I can get it open. That's going to be my base. And then I'm going to use the bright yellow for my shadows. I think those will look good together. Now, the thing about gouache paint is you have to keep it moist. It behaves like watercolor mostly, and it covers like acrylic. So it's very opaque. It's not translucent like watercolor is. So you need to have water in order to control it. And then you need to do I gotta find my water. Oh, what'd I do with it? Oh, it's over here. Sorry, guys. I need to grab my water. Okay. Had to grab my mead and paint toilet, which are not available anymore, which I hate because they're so good. I love it so much. Okay. All right, so we are going to, hey, Tipsy Gypsy, how's it going? I missed your live the other day. I got a message and I went on and you were already off. I always like to come and support you guys that are going live like you guys do me. Stacy Lee, I'm using gouache paint, but you can use watercolor to do this. It's totally up to you. We're using gouache today. All right, so we are, oh, you'll be back tonight. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll be able to make it tonight. I have my grandkids tonight, so we'll see if I can get on. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to dip into my light yellow with a wet brush so that I've got water in it. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in my hat with that light yellow. Just like I would if I were doing watercolors. So fill your hat in with the yellow all the way. And you can see how this is not translucent like watercolor. If I were doing this with a light yellow watercolor, you would be able to see through it and it would be much more translucent. That's the difference between this and a gouache paint. The gouache paint is much more opaque. I know we haven't done our background yet, and honestly, I'm just not sure what I want to do with the background. So I'm going to do him, and then we're going to add the background in at the end, just so you know. The colors that I'm using right now, Stacey Lee, are the neutral yellow, I think, and the bright yellow. Let me just tell you. It's the Naples yellow. The Naples yellow and the bright yellow. Those are the two colors that I'm currently using. We're using the Naples right now on the base of the hat. Okay, so that's going to be that. Now, I want to keep this fairly wet because I want this to blend like watercolors. You know how we do a wet on wet blending technique? So make sure you have water on your hat for the blending. Okay, so add in some water if you need to keep that wet. It doesn't have to be drenched. Mine's a little wetter than I need it to be. So I'm going to take some of that up. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this darker yellow. And I'm going to make kind of my little wrinkles with the dark yellow. So I'm going to add in kind of just some shadowing. Now it's not going to be super noticeable, you guys. And if it's not dark enough, there is a darker yellow that you can use. It is, hang on, let me pull it out for you so you can see it. That is more, it's kind of an orangey yellow, but it's a mid yellow. I'm going to add some of that in too, just because I feel like I want this to contrast a little bit more than what I'm seeing on here. And I'm going to switch to my Golden Maple detail brush. Okay, this is the 3. It comes with this Stay Wet palette. And let me just restart that flash sale for you guys on the Stay Wet palette. All right, so this brush comes with the Stay Wet palette. I'm going to take some of this darker yellow and I'm going to kind of go in here right at the corners where we would see some shadowing. And we're going to kind of add that in. And then any other place where we feel like we need to have some shadows. Now this will spread just like watercolor. It blends with water just like watercolor does. It's just more opaque, okay? So if you want to add in those shadows, you can do this wet on wet technique like I'm doing, and it will spread on its own, and it's going to kind of give you the shadows that you're looking for. You can see kind of how that spreads. So I'm just letting it kind of spread across the left side and give me a little bit of shadows. I'm going to rinse it, go in with clear water and kind of blend out those harsh lines. Okay, so I have a little bit of shadow on my hat there. And I want to make sure that when I go in with these shadows on this side, I'm going to kind of bring them up like a wrinkle. So I'm going to kind of make these little areas where we have our creases happen. Again, gouache paint requires water, so make sure you're putting water on your brush. All All right, let me see. Where else do I need some shadows at? Now we'll go in and add some shadows around the flowers too once we get those flowers done. But we're going to just follow along these little curves. Just kind of bring those shadows across. Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in a little bit of this darker at the tip of my hat as well. And I'm going to spread it down with clear water. So rinse your brush and then just kind of blend that out. So it kind of gets darker as the hat goes down. Okay. All right. Now this is all going to be flowers, so I'm not worried about what that looks like. We just want to make sure that these shadows on the upper part of the hat that aren't going to be covered by the flowers are there. Okay. We need them to be fairly subtle. Okay, so there's the hat. All right, now we're going to move to the bottom part of the hat. Okay, so we're going to go back over here to this light yellow, and we're going to give our base coat. I'm just going to keep using my detail brush for now because I'm going to use it for the shadows anyway, so I'm just going to be patient and use this. It takes a little bit longer to fill it in, but that's okay. I'm not really worried about it. I'll just get to hang out with you guys a little bit longer if it takes me longer to paint it, right? Angel, how you doing? You doing okay? I know you said you were having a rough morning, so. All right, so keep that wet so that we can add in our shadows. Grab some of that darker yellow. Oh, I know you are. I'm so sorry. You got your earrings, Ginger? Yay, I'm so glad. Do you love them? I hope so. All right, now this right here needs to be darker because this is like the inside of the hat. It kind of like comes down like this. So we're going to make that darker. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to make this side just a little bit darker right here in this corner. And then we're going to go right along the base of the hat itself, like this. Just to give it a little bit of a shadow. And just kind of blend that up. Now, the other thing that we're going to need is a shadow right up underneath the ribbon. So go ahead and take some more of that dark and go right up under the ribbon right here. Now rinse your brush and go ahead and smooth that all out and make sure it's all good and covered. Okay. All right, so there's our hat. Now, let's go ahead and do the robe while we are at it, because that's going to make it, like, while we have the yellow out. I don't know what I did with mine. Here it is. I need to... You know what? I think we'll need to do the beard before we do the rope. So let's skip that for now. All right, we're going to do the ribbon. So on the ribbon, I'm using these two colors. I'm using the pink and I am using the rose, this dark rose color. Okay. Now I already have this on my palette right here. I just want to double check that this rose color is what this is. Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. So that is what we are doing for our ribbon. Sorry, I'm having to get my paint back in there. Okay, so you want to make sure this is dry because you don't want the pink to bleed into the yellow because, you know, with watercolors, it'll follow the water, and the gouache does the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get this dry before we do the ribbon. Thank you, Ginger. Oh, good. I'm glad, Angel. Yeah, you can stop and start over. You know, that's the great thing about it is God gives us the ability to start over at any point of our day that we want. All we have to do is look up, take a breath, breathe him in, and ask him to help us to start over. And he will do that. So I'm praying that for you this morning. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and do our base coat, which is going to be this pink. So as you can see, my pink is really wet. I'm telling you, this Stay Wet palette is airtight, so it keeps all the water in there. So I didn't even have to reactivate that, which was nice. All right, we're going to go ahead and go all the way on our ribbon with this pink color. And just fill it in with our pink. And let's do the same thing on the ribbon. Go ahead and fill our ribbon in with the pink as well. Now, gouache it can be translucent, guys, if you add enough water to it. But for the most part, it is opaque. So my pink has a little bit of almost too much water to it. So it's a little bit translucent, but I'm not worried about that. So it has a lot of water on it. I don't know what I must have been doing something that I needed it to be more translucent when I was using it last time. I don't remember what it was, but okay. So we have our base pink done, and we're going to take that darker pink and we're going to go in and kind of add our shadows. So we're going to go in right here. Let me just make sure that I don't have too much water on my brush. And we're going to bring in kind of our shadows across here. A very light touch. And just kind of make it wispy. Okay, so I'm really, really light touch, guys, to get these shadows in. Okay, same thing right here. We're going to go in the inside of our ribbon. To kind of give it that shadow. on the inside. And then we're also going to have some shadows right here and right here. Remember, we're going to have flowers there, so we don't have the second half of that ribbon because of that. Okay, so just add in your shadows there that you want. And once we get our flowers on, we can always go back in and add more shadows if we need to, which we will need to, so just know that. All right, I'm going to rinse that pink off. My brush, we're going to go into the beard next. Now, I'm going to use my number 2 round. This is also comes with this Stay Wet palette, okay? This Stay Wet palette comes with an entire set of brushes, and this is one of the brushes that comes with it. So I'm going to use the 2. So that detail brush we were just using, that also comes with this Stay Wet palette. All right, so we're going to dip into our clean water, and we are going to get some white. Now, white is going to be too white. It's not going to show. So we're going to mix just a teeny tiny bit of a gray or brown or whatever color you want your beard to be. You don't want it to be too, you want it to give the semblance of being white, but if you do plain white, it won't show, and we don't want to do that. And plus you want to have texture to it. So I'm using this neutral gray, and I'm going to put it right over here, and I'm just going to barely add in a little bit of that gray to the white and mix that together. So I'm going to pick up some white, and I'm going to mix it right here. And we're just going to barely touch that gray so that it has just enough gray to it that it's not the same color as my background. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. Okay. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to fill in my beard. Sorry, I'm adding some water. So I'm going to fill in my beard. We'll add some texture and everything to this in a minute. But I'm just making like little points, you know, like it's hair coming down, like little wispies over the top of the robe. So that it looks like the beard is kind of going over the top of the robe. And then I'm covering the rest of this in. So you see how that's still giving, it's giving white, but it's not the same color as the background. So you can tell that it's there. But I would still consider it white. Okay. And then once you have that filled in, we will go in and add a little bit of texture with our detail brush. Okay. All right. So that's done. So rinse your brush. Thank you for the heart me. Thank you, Kinder Kelly. I appreciate that. All right. Now I'm going to go back to my detail brush, which is this 3. Okay. It is a 3 round out of this set. And I'm going to dip into this dark gray that we use to tint our white. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I have enough water, that it's not overpowering. Okay. And I'm going to touch it to my paper towel because I don't want to have too much on here. I want it to be very, very subtle. Okay. And we're going to come out from the nose and we're just going to kind of give it some wispies. Very light touch. And we're going to outline it also. So we have our beard shape. Okay. And just remember, we're going to have flowers there too, so some of that's going to be covered, but we want to paint it as though we don't have flowers there. And that way, when we cover it, it'll look natural. Very light touch. And then we're going to outline. All right. So there we have our beard. Love it, love it, love it. All right, now that we have the beard in place, we know where our yellow needs to be. I need a smaller detail brush than this, so I'm going to shift over to this 10, which is a much smaller brush, as you can tell. And again, it comes with this Stay Wet palette, so we're going to use the 10, and it's a 10 round. So we're going to use that to get into these smaller areas with our yellow that we need. Okay. So, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and restart this flash sale on this Stay Wet palette because, it has gone out. So if you're looking at the Stay Wet palette, don't purchase it just yet. I have a flash sale code. I'm fixing to start it. It'll go for 20 minutes. And, we want to make sure that you are able to save the money. Oh, hang on. I don't know why it's not giving me the ability to do that. Just one second. There it is. Okay. Okay, so that price is going to drop in just a second. It's going to drop down, so don't purchase it until it drops down to the 31. There we go. So now that flash sale is good for another 20 minutes. So if you are interested in grabbing this Stay Wet palette, you can do that. It does come with a set of brushes. I think it's 10 different brushes. Plus you get some stippling brushes as well with this. You get a set of these right here. Hang on. You get 3 stippling brushes as well. So get lots of goodies with this Stay Wet palette. Okay, so now we're going to use our number 10 brush, and we are going to dip into our light yellow base, and we're going to paint in our sleeves. So I have a sleeve right here. This is what's showing through his beard. And then right here. Okay. On the other side, same thing. I have a sleeve showing right here through the beard. That's why I'm using this smaller brush. Okay. Now I'm going to switch back to my 3 because it's a little bit bigger. Yes, it's a gnome. We do a gnome every month for everything. This was our February, or this was January, February gnome. We did our St. Patty's Day gnome. Then we did our Easter gnome. And this is for the month of May. All right. We are going to continue now to add. I'm on my brush number 3. And, oops, that's the hand. I don't want to do that. Well, great thing about gouache paints is they layer, but I'm going to try to pick that color up just a little bit. All right, remember you have a hand here, so you're going to stop your color right here at the sleeve. And then your hand color, let me just grab some skin tone color to go right here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is the hand right here. That's holding the bow. It's going to have flowers in it. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and grab our base yellow. Courtney, game changer. Yeah, are you talking about the palette or the brushes? They're both really nice. Okay, then grab your skin tone for the hand. We'll use this same color for the nose too. All right. All right, now that we have our sleeves done, I'm going to shift to my Meeden number 1. No, I'm not. I'm going to shift to the number 2 in this Stay Wet palette set. And I'm going to get that yellow. And we're going to do the robe. And we'll put in all of the wrinkles and details and stuff in a minute. But we're going to go ahead and just get the base on. There we go. All right, so we have our little robe going, and now we are going to put in detail. So I'm going to switch back to my number 3 brush. This is a very versatile set of brushes in this. You've got your, this is my main brush that I'm using for the larger areas. This is my brush I'm using for my details. And this is the brush that I'm using for the teeny tiny areas that I need to get paint in. But all 3 of these brushes come in this set. You also get some flat brushes in this set, flat angled brushes in this set too, along with, you know, some other brushes. I think it's 10 different brushes, plus your 3 stippling. These are, sorry, I had mine stuck in a drawer and it bent it, but I'll have to put that in some boiling water and fix it. But these brushes right here all come in this set. Okay. So I'm going to use, let's see, for my detail brush, I'm switching to the 3. And that is what I will be using for this detail. Sorry, I got to tie my hair up, y'all. It's getting warm in here. Okay. All right, so we want to have our shadows in our sleeve area first. Okay. And because our hand kind of goes into our sleeve, okay? So we want to get this dark yellow, and we want to darken up this little sleeve area right here. And then we also want to give these wrinkles a bit of a shadow right along there. Okay. There's also going to be a slight shadow from where the beard is kind of going over. So you can do that as well. Okay. Same thing over here. Let's put our shadow on the inside of our sleeve. And then where our wrinkles go. And you can spread this out with clean water, just like you can watercolors. Just remember, these act like watercolors. They just cover like acrylic. So that's the difference when you're talking about gouache paints, okay? I'm going to leave this Stay Wet palette running, but I'm going to put the paints up because I want you guys to see the paints that I'm using, because they're a really good set of paints. And I really like them, and they don't break the bank. All right, let's do some wrinkles on our gown or our robe or whatever you want to call this little dressy thing that he's wearing. Okay, so we're going to put some shadows in the corners here, up underneath the sleeve, and in the corner over here. Definitely right here in the corners where the bow is kind of overlapping the gown. We want shadows there as well. We kind of want some shadows that go up over his feet too, because we know that his shoes are kind of pushing his little gown up. Okay. Perfect. All right. Now, let's see. The bow. Go back to our pinks. Let's give our bow our base pink. So fill it in. Just give it a base first. And then we'll give it our shadows in just a second. I love Golden Maple detail brushes. I have multiple sets of theirs. And they're all detail brush sets because they're all designed for miniature painting, because for like model cars and dollhouse furniture and things like that. But I use them for watercolors, and a lot of people do, because they're really good. They're really good. So if you want a really good brand for details, they have a lot of options for detail brushes. This happens to come with this palette, but they have a lot of different just plain detail brush sets that are amazing. My favorite one is the one that comes with the case that I use almost every day with you guys, but today we're using these just because it's, they come with this palette, and since we're working with the palette, I might as well use the brushes because that way you can see what you can get with the whole thing if you get the whole palette and brush set. All right, so we're going to use these darker now, and we are going to go in, and I don't want too much on there. Just take a little bit of that off. We're going to go in and we're going to darken up these under areas right here. First. And then we're going to come out from the center. And same thing here. We're going to come out from the center here. I'm going to outline this bow. Okay, and then right here, we're going to make this bow kind of come like it's kind of scrunched up in the center. So we're going to take our outline, we're going to bring it kind of in, and we're going to kind of bring that in the middle here. To give it kind of like a wrinkled look in the middle. Then outline the base, or the little ribbons that come down. And then a little bit of shadow down those. And the same thing right here. All right, Angel, on the road again. We're starting over, right? It's going to be better from here. Okay, so there's our bow. All right, let's do the nose. Now to do the nose, I'm switching back to the number 2. I'm going to grab my nose, my skin color, which is right here. It's kind of mixed with yellow, with pink a little bit. So I'm going to put some water in and lighten that up a little bit. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in and cover our nose completely with this base color. See how I had to add water to that to make that spread? Because it is thick like acrylic paint until you add water to it. Okay, now, while it is still wet, I have too much water in there. While it is still wet, I'm going to add in a little of this brown color mixture that I have right here. Now see how that spreads like watercolor? It's because gouache acts like watercolor, but covers like acrylic. Okay. All right, let's dry it. I don't want it to spread anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and dry it before it starts spreading out, because I want to have just that little shadow on the nose like that. Okay. I love doing noses. Those are my favorites. All right, now we're going to do the feet. We're going to need a brown. So whatever color you want your feet to be, I'm going to use I'm going to use this red ochre. Which is what I just used to mix in with the nose. And I'm going to use the tan. Okay. So the tan is going to be my base, and the red ochre is going to be my shadows. Okay. So go ahead and rinse your bowl out and make sure you have good water. Nice clean water. And dip into that base color that you're going to use for your feet. And fill that in on both your feet. Okay. And while it's wet, go ahead and dip into your highlight color. Add water if it doesn't spread the way you want it to. Okay, so I'm just leaving a little bit of that base color right there, and the rest is the shadow color. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing right here. And then I'm going to dry that. Whoops. Ugh. All right. That's what I'm talking about when I say this washi tape doesn't like heat. So, all right. Let me tape that down better. Hang on. Sometimes I have to go back over the top of it with this tape, with painter's tape. But I like the way the washi tape look. Like, I like the clean lines that washi gives me. So I go ahead and do that first. And then I just retape it if it starts coming up like that. And that way I don't have to worry about it. I still have those clean lines. Okay. All right. So now we're going to pull out, before we do our flowers, we're going to pull out our grabby multi-liners. I'm going to use the 003. And we're going to do some outlining and detail work first. And then we will go in and add our flowers and get the final details put on. Okay, so I'm just going to give him an outline. when I do these wrinkles, I go very light-handed on them. Because I don't want them to overpower the highlights that I have in there, or the shadows. Okay. Just keep in mind too, guys, that when our flowers get on here, some of this is going to be covered up, so I want to do that. That's the inside of the hat. And that's what's going to be a little bit darker, so we'll go back in and add if we need to and make that even darker. Okay. And again, very, very light hand when we're doing this, guys. And with the beard, I'm just going to kind of give it some wispies, but I'm not going to really darken it. I'm not going to do a continuous line, kind of like you were sketching. Just kind of make it wispy on the ends. Because you want it to kind of look, obviously, like hair. Just going to add some more of these texture lines with the black to kind of accentuate the grays that we already did. And then we'll go along the sleeve. I feel like I need to have the sleeve right there too. Okay. The reason I use the 003 is because it's got such a small tip on it that it's much easier to do subtle lines with this 003 than if you use, say, an 05 or even a 1. So I really, really like that. Hey, Rain. Thank you. I'm glad you popped in. Hope you're doing well today. All right, let's go ahead and do that. And we'll go around the nose here. All right. Okay, so we have that. So now it's time to start adding in the flowers. All right. Now, when we do our flowers, we're going to be using the Langu set because they have small tips on them. You can also use the ZSCM set if you choose to, for some of the larger flowers. Or if you wanted to do glitter, there are 2 different glitter sets I would recommend. The ZSCM, if you want your ones to sparkle, or if you want to do the shuttle art glitter. Those are really nice as well. So if you want your flowers to have some sparkle to them, then ZSCM is the way to go. All right. I'm going to use the Lango set just because I really like the tips on these for like smaller stuff. I have the 90 count set. They do come in a 36, a 54, and a 72 as well. I have the 90 count. That is what I will be using. And for my flowers, I'm trying to decide what colors I want to use on the flowers. I think I'm going to go with a pink, like a pinkish purple. This is the number 508. No, I don't like that. It clashes. Hang on. Let me find a better one. Maybe I'll use this neon pink. I like that. That's the 189. Yep, I think I'm going to use this one. And then I'm going to use a white, but not a full white. I'm going to use the 132. It's a little bit different. It's not quite, as you can see. Here's the plain white, and here's that. So it's almost white, but not quite. I'm going to use that. And then, I wonder if I should use, I'm going to use this. So I'm going to bring in some of this into the mix because I really like that as a spring color. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now for the leaves, I'm going to use a dark green, and I'm going to use a like a light green, okay? Yes, they're acrylic gel pens, Jody. They're acrylic paint, but they have these small, teeny tiny little tips on them. And so I'm going to go in now over the top of this gouache, and I'm going to layer these on top. Now, the thing about acrylic gel pens are that they are acrylic paint. So you do have to be very careful and make sure they're dry before you layer them, and also to make sure they're dry before you touch them and you don't want to smear them, okay? So you have to be careful with that. So we'll be drying in between our layers, but I'm going to show you how these coat. They cover really well, okay? We're going to start right here with our pink. And I want to use it right here up against the bow because we want it to cover the bow, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to just draw my leaves. And these also, just so you know, they are they have the upgraded ink on them, so they're designed for layering. I just have to find but you can get acrylic paint that dries on the tip, so you always want, I like to write with mine before I actually start so that the ink is flowing really well, okay? And I'm just going to go through here, and I'm going to make my flower, and I'm just doing like heart-shaped leaves to kind of give it the semblance of a flower. Okay, now you want to make sure it's dry before you try to layer anything on top of that, okay? So I'm going to dry it. And I'm going to go back. I didn't fill that in all the way. Sorry, guys. Got in a hurry and didn't totally fill it in. All right, so now that it's dry, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do my center with my white. And this is true white in the center. And then I'm going to take my my Grabby 003. And I'm just going to kind of give it an outline. But a very light touch. Okay, so there's my first flower. All right, my next one, I'm going to go with the turquoise. Okay. Make sure my ink is flowing. This is BG02 out of this set. And I am going to do it right here. I'm going to do the big leaves. So my center, where do I want my center of this flower to be? I need to make sure. You know what? I'm just going to do it like this. I'm going to go over. Remember, you want to make sure they're dry because you're layering. These I'm just doing normal little flower petals. Okay, I'm going to dry that. And we'll do our center of this. I'm going to do the center of this in like a yellow. Like a yellowish orange. Hang on. There we go. It wasn't quite dry. I should have dried it a little bit longer, but that's okay. All right, so there's our center for that one. We're going to take our Grabby. Jody, thank you for those purchases. I appreciate that. Oh, you got the gouache paints. You're going to love those. I'm so excited for you. You're also going to love those pens. These Lingo pens are great. I've had them for a while, but they were up on a shelf because I don't like having to reach up on my shelves and pull supplies down. And when I got my second set of the meat and drawers, I pulled them out and put them in the drawers where I could get to them. And now I'm using them literally every day, along with obviously my ZSCM ones that I love so very much. All right. Now our next flower is going to be that kind of off-white color. And we're going to do that one. Oh, I haven't even used the color yet. Let me pull the tip off of it. So it's kind of an off-white. And we're going to just, again, we're just going to do like heart shapes. Fill in this. I'm going to do... Okay, so we're not really going to have a center there on that one. Let's try it because it's behind the big blue one. And you can see how well that covered up that paint. Even though it's a light color, it covered up that pink really well. Okay, and let's go ahead and add in some leaves. So we're going to take our green. and add in some leaves. Just wherever you feel like it needs them. Okay. Dry it. And then take your grabby or your multi-liner, whatever. Hey, Jess, how's it going? Your stickers are so cute. Guys, if y'all don't follow Jess, y'all got to go follow her. She makes the cutest planner stickers. I love them so much. I've got to, at some point, get an order in from you so that I can use them because I am a huge planner. And I love me a good set of planner stickers. She makes cute, cute ones. Little marshmallow guys. Okay. All right, so there's the flowers there. Now the bow is tying off some flowers. Okay. So we're going to use the same colors. Okay. We're going to go with a tulip here. And a tulip is going to be, this is how we're going to draw this, guys. So you know, we're going to go in. You're going to make a U like this. And you're going to bring it in, and then you're going to do a little one in the center. That's how we make our tulips, okay? Super easy to do. So go ahead and do your U and bring it in. And you can make more than one tip too, if you want to. I'm only going to do one. I'm going to fill it in. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit of a darker pink color and outline it and put that darker in the center there. Okay, so that's what I love about these. They layer well. Make sure it's dry. And then go in right here. Just going to make that a little bit darker. And just kind of, okay, so there's my tulip. Then we've got our blue flower over here. And I'm going to do that one just with my regular little teardrop shaped leaves. Okay, dry it and put your center in that. Okay, and then we've got two little white flowers down here, but I think what I'm going to do is just do one. And I don't think I'm going to do white because his beard is white and it's going to kind of make for a more difficult transition. So I think what I'm going to do is go in. I'm going to do some little lavender ones. So let's go ahead and do some stems. I'm going to use this light green for the stems. We're going to bring those stems down here first. Okay. So they're coming basically out the bottom. And then obviously we're going to have one coming from our tulip and one from this one. Then I'm going to go right up here in the center and I'm going to do some lavender. So in order to do lavender, you're going to do it like this. You're just going to kind of put these little dots all the way down your stem, like that. That's how you do that. Okay, so we're gonna go right along the stem here. And bring in our lavender. And then I'm gonna do the same thing out this side. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. And I don't like that green. I'm gonna go back in with the dark because I don't think that green shows up enough. So let's go ahead and like that. Okay. Oh, I like it. Okay, now let's dry it and let's take our grabby multi-liner and give it a little bit of detail. Okay, that pretty much is all we need, my friends, for detail. And then we want to do our background now. I told you guys I was waiting till the end because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in the background. And I think, just not sure. I think I'm just going to do a very, very pale pink background. So I'm going to get my Meeden number 5, I think. Yeah, Meeden number 5. And I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to put some water around the top. And I'm not going to do a ton, but I want to get a little bit of this pink and I want to just put it in there and then add quite a bit of water so that it's very light. Uh-oh, my tape came up. That's going to mess it up. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it. Just remember, art is never perfect. Okay, then I'm going to go and I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm just going to do like this. And I'm going to pick up that background. So it's going to be barely, barely pink. Okay, barely notice it. Over here, we're going to do that same thing. Get some pink. It's going to be a little splotchy, and that's okay because I kind of want it to be like my splotchy backgrounds on my watercolors. Just picking it up. I just wasn't sure what color was going to look good as a background for this. So, all right. So now we're going to do some splatter painting with the yellow and we will call it done. All right. Let's get, well, let's make sure the background's dry so it doesn't spread out. Thank you, Stacy Lee. Okay. And now let's do, I'm going to use the number 2. And I'm going to dip into, whoops, I don't want the pink. I want the yellow. Dip into this yellow. Okay, lots of water. And we are going to just splatter some of this yellow. Just like that. All right, now let's dry it. Once it's dry, we'll peel that tape and see what it looks like. I think he turned out cute. He looks like a May gnome. He looks like, for the month of May, May flowers. April showers bring May flowers, and he is a good May representation of all the flowers that we get. Love, love, love it. All right. Let's go ahead and peel that tape. Oh, that water didn't get under there too bad. It's still a pretty good frame. There we go. All right. Thanks, Jody. So yeah, so there we are with our May gnome. So these are the gnomes so far that we've done. All right. This was not in these order because we did this one later. Because what happened, this how this started, guys. We did a Valentine's gnome. Loved, loved, loved him. He turned out so cute that we decided to do a St. Patty's Day gnome. So we did that in March. And then we did an Easter gnome in March also. So we did 2 in March. We didn't really, and so in April we decided to do this one. So I'm counting that for January. And when we're done, we're going to have 12 of them. Okay. This one is the one for May. Okay. So now we have our set so far. The one we did in April, I'm counting as January. So we've got January, February, March, April, and May. So that's how I'm doing it. The idea is to have one. We might end up, honestly, with more than 12 because we're going to need to do one in June. And then in July we can do, see, there's just, I don't know. Who knows? Because we could do lots of different things for summer. So, and we definitely want to do one for July 4th, which will be fun. I don't know. I feel like my January one should be snowy, but this one will work for now. But anyway, that's where we're at. Those are our gnomes. I think they're cute. I love that at the end of the year, we're going to have this great collection of gnomes that we've done. And they're all of our gnome series we're doing in gouache paints. Okay, so now I will tell you that we will have the replay up for this one. It will go up and just, I'll try to get it downloaded. I'm really struggling with getting my things downloaded with my internet being the way that it is because my internet has been just atrocious since the storm, and they're sending me some new hardware for it. But until that gets here, I'm having to run off of my phone, which is not great signal because I live out in the middle of nowhere. But I'm doing my best to do this anyway. But if you missed any of our stuff, the replays will be going up. Jody, that Mother's Day replay is up, by the way. I got that up on Sunday night. Finally, it just took me forever in case you weren't able to get the link that I sent you to work. But the replays are all available on my Tube of You. So if you've missed any of our gnome series, they are all there. All right. Other than this one. This one is the one we did today, and it is not finished. I mean, it is not up yet. Okay. But guys, did y'all see my Mother's Day framed hymnal page? It's on my stories, my TikTok stories. It turned out so pretty with the floating frame. If you haven't looked at it, you should definitely look at it. I agree, Angel. I think he is my very favorite out of the 5 that we've done so far. I think it's the colors. I love the yellow. Now, this one obviously had a green hat, but because we had done this one in green, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do a green hat. I'm going to do a yellow. And I really am glad that I did that because I really love the colors on this one. It's really pretty. So if you didn't see my finished hymnal page, it's on my stories. It'll be up for a little bit longer. I'm sure it's only 24 hours. So I'll post it again once it goes off, just so you guys have an opportunity to grab it, to see it and see how I framed it. It turned out beautifully. If Mom is still on here, she can tell you. I gave it to her on Sunday or on Saturday because I wasn't going to see her on Sunday. And she loved it. So, or at least she told me she loved it. So anyway, but this one today will go up as soon as I can download it. My point was my internet's kind of hard. It's giving me struggles of downloading. So this will be up as soon as I finish my, as soon as I get off of here, I'll start downloading it, but I don't know how long it's going to take because it does have a tendency to, really take a while. So, all right. So that is today's tutorial. I hope you guys had fun. Tomorrow we will be starting. Well, tomorrow is tomorrow evening. I have my grandkids tonight. So we will be doing our tutorial tomorrow evening. And I'm going to be doing some fun patriotic stuff. Just simply because we've got July coming up. 4th of July coming up, so I thought it would be fun to do a couple of patriotic ones. Now, we did the fruit series. Let me pull my fruit so y'all can see. Okay. We did this fruit series, so I want everybody to see it because I need y'all's opinions. I'm going to show you something in just a second, okay? So we did these fruit series with the little faces on them. That's what everybody was wanting to do, was the faces. Okay, so we just finished that. Today we did the gnome for the month of May. Now tomorrow my plan is to, hang on and let me pull it up for you guys. Because I want to make sure that you guys can see which option we want to do, okay? For this. So let me get it pulled up. Again, my internet is slow. As slow as molasses in January. So y'all are going to have to just give me a second to pull it up. All right. So I have two options. We can do it very similar to the fruit series, where we have a few patriotic images and their little faces like this, which I think is super cute and I love it. Or we can do some patriotic series like this, that's no faces. Now, personally, I like the faces because I love doing little characters and having personality with my paintings. So for me, if I had to choose, this is the one that I would do. But because this is a democracy, if you guys would prefer to do something like this instead, since we just finished the fruit with all the faces, then I'm happy to do that as well. So it's whatever you guys think. Y'all just need to give me your opinions. Kinder Kelly, you're so welcome. Y'all just need to give me your opinions and tell me what you think. These are the fruit that we did with the faces on them. I think they're super cute. So what do y'all think? Give me your opinion. I just want to know. I'm just curious as to what you guys, how you guys feel about that. I do the faces because people can leave them off if they want. That's true, Angel. They can. That's true. Very true. Yeah, you don't have to, because we put the faces on at the very end. So we do the entire, thing first, and then we add the eyes at the end. So if you don't want to do the faces, then you don't have to. Faces. Mom says faces. Kinder Kelly says non-faces. But Angel, you're right. If we do the faces, we can add them. If we don't want to add them, we don't have to. So yeah, okay, cool. That's a good idea. That's what I'll do. I'll give you the option at the end to put the face on or not put the face on. And we'll paint them as if we're not going to put the face on. And then at the end, if you want to add it, you can. Jody, I'll go with the majority. Okay, well, I was just curious what you guys thought about that. I loved doing these little cute little faces, but that's just me. Just because I like having, that kind of stuff to, I like having little personalities on all my paintings. That's just kind of who I am. Okay, so we will, we'll probably do, I don't know that we will start that series tomorrow. And I don't know that we'll do 6 of them. We'll probably do just a few. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do tomorrow just yet. I probably won't do any patriotic anything until next week. But I did want to kind of put that into your brains. Kinder Kelly tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow evening for our tutorial. Okay. Replays can be found on my Tube of You. So if you missed any of the stuff that we've done up to this point, just know that you can get the replays available. All right. And you can find that on my TikTok channel. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you so much for all of your support, for everyone who made purchases. Jody, thank you so much for your purchase. You got those Lango pins and you got the gouache paint, so you're going to love both of them, and I appreciate that so much. If you need anything on TikTok, supporting my showcase is a great way to support me to be able to continue to do all of these tutorials. So thank you guys so much for doing that. If there's something that you want and it's not in my showcase, shoot me a message. I will be happy to add it to my showcase so that you can grab it up. And otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Bye, Angel. I'm so glad you got to join us today. I hope your day gets better, and I hope that we gave you a few smiles that you could take into the rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for our next tutorial. We will be using the medium watercolors. All right, guys? Thanks. Bye.